We're live. Hello, hello, cruisers.
We're a few seconds early.
Yes.
We were testing.
Testing.
We weren't too sure here.
All right, so we'll give it a few seconds here for people to. Also, we're logged on here as well, right?
It's funny. Like on this view, I'm less in center than on that screen, but whatever.
There we go. I think this is zoomed in a bit. All right, so making sure everybody can hear us. Make sure the audio is good. Somebody send us a comment and let us know that the audio is working.
It's
Good
funny.
evening.
It's funny watching myself up there.
Yeah, stop looking. Stop looking at yourself. We have two screens going and they're not synced.
So that I can pay attention to the comments.
Okay.
Because last time
Thanks,
they
Bob.
were...
It's good. Okay, good. Hate to do a whole episode and find out nobody can hear us. So you're seeing the comments up there.
Yeah. No.
All right, good. All right, the reason we're here is we want to talk about something that most of you probably heard through Facebook, that I'm going on a transatlantic sailing cruise with Paul and Sheryl Shard. And Janice is not going to be going, unfortunately. So her job
without me.
in this live event, since I'll probably be answering most of the questions, she's going to write down your questions so we don't miss them. Yeah. Because last time they were flying by the screen and they're gone off the top of the screen before we responded. So just so some of you don't know, I'm going November, the estimated date of leaving the Canary Islands. So the transatlantic is from the Canary Islands, Las Palmas, to St Lucia. And we're planning to leave November 12th. But me and one of the crew members are going to leave 10 days early and go to Spain. Well, actually more than 10 days earlier. And go to Spain. We're going to go to Barcelona and Valencia. So if anybody lives in that area or knows anybody who lives in that area that wants to show us where we shouldn't miss, then that would be good. So those are the two cities we're going to go to. So the first question, I just wrote some stuff down that I think people would want to know. I want to explain how this trip came about. You're looking at you can see her eyes going.
Eyes are bouncing
because she's looking at
and
questions. So how did I get this trip offered to me? Well, it was kind of a funny story, perfect timing. We were at the Annapolis Sailboat Show as part of the media because of this channel. And as we pulled into the parking lot, doesn't Paul and Sheryl Shard, who we knew from buying their DVDs from Distant Shores, they pulled up in the parking spot beside us. And Janice goes,
I was like, it's Paul and Sheryl Shard.
It's the
I'm
Shards.
like waving at him. He's looking at me like I was crazy. Like
He heard you say, it's the Shards, and started laughing. So anyways, so we've never met them in person before. So we kind of hung out on the walk to the media event and hung out for a little bit after that. And it's funny because they just mentioned they are looking for a crew member to go on a transatlantic trip, that they have a brand new Discovery, 50-foot Discovery Catamaran that they're taking across the Atlantic. And Janice actually literally pushed me towards them.
Yeah, they're like, would you guys be available in November? I'm like, he is. I'm like, him, this guy.
Trying to get rid of me. So it was funny. So here's the backstory to that, because it was going to be a 3-week sailing trip, according to what Sheryl said. So most people at this late stage in the year wouldn't have any vacation time left. But I didn't say this on the channel. It's a kind of a fluky, interesting reason why I had vacation time. In the summer, I had surgery.
Yeah, he had booked the first like 5-6 weeks in a row of summer, and then literally 3 days before his vacation was scheduled, he had this medical issue arise.
Yeah.
And his HR there is great. They're like, well, if this is an actual medical issue and you have a doctor's note, then we can convert your vacation to sick leave. And that's what they did. Yeah. So he got to set aside the 5 weeks for later use.
Yeah. And to not let anybody worry, it wasn't anything
nothing
serious.
No. Just something to prevent him from wearing his belt and vest.
So I needed surgery. So I was in the emergency room, and then they said, you need to see a specialist. And Canada's great for free healthcare, but they're really bad for slow between appointments. It was like, go to the emergency room, we'll get you in touch with the specialist. The specialist meeting wasn't for a month. And then they just said, okay, the hospital will book you an appointment for a scoping with a camera, and that was a month. And then the camera said, you need surgery, so that was another month. And so I was off for almost all of the summer. Yeah. From the end of July 1st, pretty much, right through till...
the surgery was what, end of September?
September 14th.
Yeah, mid-September.
So I was back to work September 20-something. But anyways, long and short, my whole summer was sick leave. So my vacation time got banked. And I thought, well, great, I'll use it in the new year. After January, Janice and I like to go on cruises, or we rented a catamaran, as you're well aware. And I thought, oh, great, I'll just use it in the new year, and we'll go somewhere south, and maybe, I don't know. She doesn't have the time, but maybe I'll go longer. I did have somebody who had a catamaran contact me saying, would you be interested in helping me sail my catamaran around the Caribbean? It was a 50-foot Saba. And I thought, well, perfect, I'll use my vacation time then. And he said it would be like February, March time. And I talked to work, and this was before Sheryl and Paul offered me the spot. And work said, no, you can't use all that vacation time next year. You got to use it this year. When I was like, what? How am I supposed to use 5 weeks of vacation in November when so it was just horrible that they treated that, like they said I couldn't use it next year. So long and short, I heard this just before I went to the Annapolis Sailboat Show, and then doesn't Sheryl say, hey, would you happen to have time in November to go across the Atlantic? It'll be at least 3 weeks. And I'm like, damn, that it couldn't be better timing. So I'm more than ecstatic. I have a hard time getting the grin off my face, and I'm not sleeping enough. Not because I'm sick or anything. I'm just too excited. I got a million things going on in my head.
Yes, very long to-do list.
Long to-do list. And also I'm trying to get all those Annapolis Sailboat Show catamaran walkthrough reviews done before I leave. And I fly out with one of the crew members on Saturday to go to Spain. So are you writing any of these down? I can see stuff flying by. Here's another story that's kind of funny. So when I finally got Sheryl to say, yeah, you're definitely going to be the 6th crew member. Oh, by the way, I mentioned to one of our existing crew members that you're going to be rooming with Craig Bowman from Cruising Off Duty. And he went, oh my God, I've met him in St. Thomas. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. We were in St. Thomas about to go on our catamaran charter when we did our scuba certificate vacation beforehand. And we're walking down, the main strip on the waterway, St. Thomas, and there was an open air restaurant with, down there, none of the restaurants have windows, so it was just open air. We're walking by, and a couple sitting by the window go, hey, you're Craig and Janice from Cruising Off Duty. And we're like, yeah. And they said, oh, come on in, let's have a drink. And we were like, okay. So we met them, and it's Dan and Nicole. So this Dan that I met and we had drinks with and dinner with back in St. Thomas is the other crew member on the boat that I'm going to be sharing a room with. Like, small world or what?
Because when we met him, he was saying that he was there because he was about to go on a charter with the Shards as well.
He did mention that.
Yeah, so that's how he got to know the Shards.
Yeah, so he knew them from that. But I mean, what are the chances that he was a single guy and they needed to find one more single person to share a room with him, and it's somebody I've met before?
Yeah, they're leaving their wives.
Yeah. I'm not leaving her behind. She doesn't have the annual leave time to go anyway. So
I'm going to go to the spa every weekend.
Yeah, she said, well, you're gone. I'm going to the spa every weekend. So anyway, so that's how it happened, and that's the fluky happenstance with my time off and with me actually just dumb luck knowing the guy I'm going to room with. So this guy, Dan, and we got in touch with each other, and we thought, if we're going to fly all the way to Europe, you can't fly directly to the Canary Islands. You got to fly to Europe. I think Paul and Sheryl are flying to England, and the other couple is flying to Dublin and then spending a few days and flying to England and then spending a few days and then flying to Barcelona and spending more days and blah, blah, blah. So Dan and I decided, well, if we're going to pay the money to fly all the way from North America to Europe, why don't we go early and then go see some stuff? Because I've never been outside of North America. Neither of you, have you? No. So we've never gone outside of, U.S., Canada, and the Caribbean. And I've been to Mexico. But other than that, I haven't explored the world at all. So I thought, well, man, if I'm flying over to Europe somewhere, let's go early and spend a few days so I can see something. And Dan was like, let's do it. So we're going to Barcelona. And then because we're there so early, we figured 10 days in one city might be too much. So we got an Airbnb for 5 days in Barcelona and then 5 days in Valencia. So anyway, heads up to me if you send me an email if you know some things I should go and see for sure. I've done a little research on YouTube and Google, but I'm sure the locals know even better spots that aren't so touristy. I figured some people might want to know, what is this costing me? Paul and Sheryl aren't charging me anything to be on the boat. It was just, I have to fly myself over there, and I had to be there by the 8th. So they're planning on the boat leaving on the 12th. But they wanted to make sure all the crew got there by the 8th so we don't have jet lag and we have time to acclimatize ourselves. And they want to go out on a few day sails between the 8th and the 12th to get used to the boat so we're not out in the middle of the ocean and trying to learn the boat as we go. So that's a good idea. So I could have just flown in on the 8th, but Dan and I were going early. So we're going to fly. That was obviously going to be a cost no matter what, but then Dan and I have added 10 extra days on the beginning. So we're going to pay for Airbnbs and stuff like that. But the actual time on the boat isn't going to cost me anything. Oh, and extra bonus, like things just keep getting better and better here. She's like, what? What? I don't know.
What am I missing out?
What have you? No, I just found out I heard through the grapevine that we're in Las Palmas in the Canary Islands at the same time as an ARC rally that's going across to St Lucia as well. Right? Yeah. I mean, they're leaving like 2 or 3 days after us. So I find out just a couple of days ago from Sheryl that we're going to be there, and they were having trouble finding us a slip at this marina. So they asked if we could be in one of the slips that the World Cruising Club ARC rally has already booked. And they said, sure, we can find you a slip as long as you agree to be media, since they know Paul and Sheryl have a TV series called Distant Shores, and I'm a YouTuber that has a channel. They say, if you want to film the activities and the entertainment that we're going to have and some of the functions, then we'd be more than happy to give you a slip at this marina. So, I mean, come on, couldn't even be any better. Extra bonus, and I get to be part of the World Cruising.
The ARC rally prep, like the ARC
rally. Learn about what's involved in.
Yeah, stuff.
Not just the parties, that's fun too, but yeah, parties, but also learning what's involved in an ARC. Like they probably have all sorts of meetings, safety meetings and stuff like that to say, make sure your boat has this, make sure your boat has that, make sure you have enough crew and all this stuff. And it's kind of neat because we talked about when we finally do get our catamaran, we want to do an ARC maybe at some point, maybe not the whole World Cruising ARC, which is around the world sort of stuff, maybe just the 1500 from the east coast of the United States to the Caribbean. But it's fun when you're getting used to a new boat that you go with other people, and an ARC might actually be the easiest way because it's hard to find friends who just happen to have a boat that wants to go to the same spot as you at the same time. So anyways.
Yeah. Did you want to catch up on a couple?
Yeah, sure.
Okie dokie. Bob Fox asked you if you're going to go armed.
No. No.
And he says don't bring the drone. I don't know. We should look into that.
Well, I've already looked into that. Okay, so let's go talk about gun thing. Even if I had my own boat, I know a lot of people think, oh, put a gun on your boat and you're more safe and blah, blah, blah. We won't go anywhere near the Somalian pirates and all that. When we go around the world, we're going around through the Indian Ocean to Madagascar. It's similar to Delos. We're going to Madagascar, down around South Africa and up through towards either Argentina or Brazil that way. We're not going anywhere near the Middle East or Somalia or any of these places where pirates are going to jump on board. Not to say there aren't other places in the world that are also, have a little bit of...
Piratey.
Yeah, a little sketchy. But you go with buddy boats when you're in those areas, and I just don't think the upside of having a gun on your boat is worth it. If real pirates with real like AK-47s attack you, last thing you want to do is start waving a pistol around because you're just outgunned. B, every time you go into a country, you have to declare it, and a lot of times they'll say you have to bring the gun to a police station, and it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of hassle. And we plan to travel the world, so we're going to be stopping at island after island after island, and I don't want to deal with that hassle of having a gun. And I don't think it's necessary. And the other thing was the drone. Yeah, I've looked into Spain. That was my only concern. What's their drone laws? I'd heard some things. I looked it up, and I found out that Spain has a pretty strict no drone law in urban areas. That's what they say. So you're not allowed to be over crowds of people or in an urban environment or in a state park or whatever, country park or whatever they call their parks there. So as long as you're not in a state park, an urban area, or over a crowd like a soccer stadium or at a concert or something, you can fly. So I don't know how much then I'll get to fly in Spain, because that means I have to drive way outside of town or get away from what would be considered urban to fly my drone. But hey, we were talking about maybe renting a car and going to see Madrid for a day, and maybe along that driving path we'll see some mountains or something that we can pull off and get the drone up and get some footage there. But I'm definitely bringing my drone no matter what, because I think at the Canary Islands I might be able to use it, and when we get to St Lucia I might be able to use it, and yeah. And I've got a Mavic, which is super tiny. It fits in a thing about this big, so it's not really that big of a deal to throw that in my backpack. So, next question.
And Dan Schultz asks, are you worried about the Catalonian, or whatever they are, Catalonian separatist conflict in Barcelona that's going on?
No.
No.
No, I've read about it, and they said, they're not after tourists. They don't want to hurt their own tourism, so not really too worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we won't go into any sketchy areas at night and be alone. But that's just, I would do that whether there was conflict with separatists or not. I just wouldn't go into really sketchy neighborhoods alone. But any other questions?
And, well, I don't know how to pronounce it. K-A-K-A with an accent. Oliveira. He's asking, do you have any experience crossing, and what is the purpose of making this crossing now?
Okay. No, I don't. And why would I not take the advantage of having seasoned world cruisers like Paul and Sheryl Shard take me under their wing for this crossing? And they have a monohull. Their normal boat that they own is a southerly, and they're getting a new southerly built. And the reason they're taking this Discovery is because Discovery Yachts bought Southerly. So now they're the same company. So Southerly is the brand that's monohulls, and Discovery has monohulls as well, but they're starting to branch out into catamarans. Catamarans are becoming very popular. So Discovery wants to get into catamarans, and they have a 50-foot catamaran that they want off. So they're getting their, what are the brand representatives? Paul and Sheryl are brand representatives for Southerly, and I guess now Discovery. So they asked, would you take this boat across, since they're seasoned sailors, and they've sailed on cats before. So they're going, and there's 2 other sailors from Nova Scotia, I believe, Dave and Alexandria, and they are seasoned sailors, East Coast Canadian sailors. And there's me, who's Lake Ontario / I could sail, I just haven't sailed crossed oceans. So, and then Dan sailed a bit too. So we all have some sailing experience. Nobody has as much as Paul and Sheryl Shard, because they've been doing this for decades. So yeah, but what better time for me to learn, or to have somebody very experienced take me across before I own a cat myself and have to do it for myself. So perfect timing. Yeah,
John Richard has a couple of questions. The first is, are you prepared for seasickness?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've got my gravel pills. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I haven't done an ocean crossing. When we were in the BBIs and we were being pounded, if you've watched those episodes, there were some pretty gnarly waves. I mean, not ocean going 20-foot swells, but some pretty big chop. And the boat was bouncing around quite a bit. And I was fine the whole time, except for one time when I was trying to go downstairs and copy videos onto my laptop in my room.
You spent too long.
Yeah, I was trying to read stuff on my laptop, and I was down below, and I got a little ooh. But I went upstairs and got back in the air, and I was fine after half an hour. So.
And he's asking, are you going to bring a spot or something similar to that? Which
the pinging thing that tells you where they are. Paul and Sheryl have that.
In reach.
So distantshores.ca is their website. From what I've been told, if you go there, the website's going to say where they are live, so you can follow the ping. And also, I think they have the ability through either their satellite phone or SSB or some other. They're going to be sending emails back to our. They're going to be sending it to their business manager, who's going to be putting it out on social media. Janice will be also get emails about what's going on with this as well. So there will be contact, and I've even been told that we can send stuff back. Like I can send emails to Janice and stuff like that. So we're not going to be out of contact. So.
No.
And also, I think Dan told me he's buying one of those as well. So there's a duplication. Dan's buying one of those. He wants his family to know where he is at all times. He's buying a satellite phone, and he's also got one of those pinger things that tells you GPS located all the time. Yeah. I've got more things if there's nothing there.
I think so.
Okay, I wanted to say what were my fears, because I'm sure people are wondering. One of the questions was sort of like that. We were, seasickness, and that's exactly it. My only fear wasn't the sailing aspect. It's a big catamaran. 50-foot catamaran is a pretty decent sized catamaran, and there's 6 of us there, so it's not like we're going to have to go crazy long shifts to keep sailing. It should be pretty short shifts, so there won't be any worry about falling asleep on watch or any of that stuff. I guess my only concern is you can't really forecast weather that far out, so we could be halfway or 2/3 of the way across, and then a massive, not a hurricane, because I think we can see those coming far enough in advance, but a big gale storm could come along, and it could be really nasty. And hey, get stuck in the middle of the ocean, jumping around on massive waves. It's not going to be fun. But I mean, hell, filming that, as long as we make it through it, what a great story and what great footage. So yeah, I'll be filming the whole time, from the time I'm in Spain all the way through the trip. Obviously, when I'm on the boat, I can't send videos, so I'll have to wait till I get back to Canada to start uploading all these episodes. So. You're waving crazy.
Waving, goodbye, hello.
So.
Yeah, lots of comments more than questions.
Okay. I wanted to say something. I wanted to say, I've said this on the Patreon. I'm not sure how that disseminates very well, but I wanted to mention, I don't even know if you can see what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the Cruising Off Duty t-shirt that we wore to the show. Janice was wearing it then. She's not wearing it today, but I have one like this that says Captain, and then Janice has one that says First Mate. Yeah. And now we bought a whole bunch that say Crew. So what we're going to do is, of course, I've given out 2 or 3 of these already. I'll be giving out more to people that I know are maybe not patrons, but that have been really supportive of the channel. And now I want to start opening up to patrons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, with any patron, and there's 2, I want to name them. Mir Patterson is the closest, and then Casey Jones. When you get to $200 lifetime, I'm going to send you a shirt, and we're also going to send you some Cruising Off Duty stickers that we've got. So they're really, they're really nice. So I'm going to send you a t-shirt. So what's going to happen is Mir's pretty close. In fact, he'll probably cross that while I'm on this sailing thing. So Mir, if you want to send me an email to Cruising Off Duty, and just tell me your mailing address, and then when I get back from the trip, I'll mail you one of these shirts, and tell me what size you need. Right now I have mediums and large, because she's a medium, I'm a large. We didn't buy extra large because I wasn't sure anybody would need an extra large.
But we can easily get them.
Yeah, we can order more. If somebody says, one of my patrons says I'm an extra large, I'll order a shirt just for you. So that's what I want to make sure. I want to show a little bit of love back, because I know YouTube's kind of a funny thing, because most of the stuff on the patrons get is actually free to everybody, and they're just being really generous, supporters by saying, I'll put $2 a video towards helping you, pay for the cost of, camera gear and computers and all that stuff that we have to buy to keep it running. And we really appreciate it. And my way of showing love is just giving you some swag back. So I figured at 200, and then at 400, and then every couple $100 I'll give you something as a gift, and we'll stay in touch that way. Send me an email, and we'll figure out how to ship it to you. So at this point, in case you're wondering, there are ways to get these shirts through like Teespree and a bunch of other companies, where you design the shirt and then your viewers can go on that website and order it and ship directly from them. If there's interest in that, where a bunch of people want to get shirts, I'll set that up, because it's kind of I don't want to become a warehouse of shirts and shipping myself. These companies can do it a lot more efficiently. So if that's something that general viewers want to buy shirts, then let me know, and I'll set up one of those accounts with one of the t-shirt makers, and they'll ship it directly to you instead of to me, and then I have to ship it to you. So that's that.
Yeah. So Beachcomber asked, what do our non-sailing friends have to say about this?
My mom's not too happy.
Which mom? Oh, one mom.
Yeah, my mom.
She's got two moms.
Yeah, I got two moms. But my mom that I grew up with, you can see the look of her on her face.
I thought she was happy.
Oh, she's happy about the experience, but she's not. When I told her, oh, guess what? Like, I was all excited. I can't believe it. Paul and Sheryl Shard just asked me to go on their catamaran across the Atlantic, and her face went, no, not like happy, like what?
Worried?
Yeah, like worried. So it was kind of fun. Like, oh, this is supposed to be good news. She goes, yeah, but it's the middle of the ocean. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I'm going to do it at some point. Might as well do it with 6 people, and 5 other people, 2 of which are amazing long distance sailors. So, she's gotten used to the idea, and she's down in Arizona visiting her sister. She's American, by the way, my mom. So she's visiting her family down in Arizona. So we FaceTime all the time, and she's wishing me luck. And that's the only thing I'm afraid of too, is just unexpected, horrendous, storms. But I'm not worried that anything bad is gonna happen. It's just I'm more worried actually for my embarrassment factor, that I'm going to be like the guy who's always green over the side.
Holding them back.
Everybody else is doing their shift, and I'm just hanging my head off the side of the boat. So that's my fear. Not that we're going to flip the catamaran or do anything crazy like that, but that I'll be that guy who's constantly seasick. So fingers crossed.
He was referring to lifestyle as well, a
living aboard.
Yeah, I think so. My parents are very, very pro us doing this, even though they're both they're 70 and 71, and if we leave in 6 years, obviously going to be mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
But they're fine with that, because my kids will still be here, and they don't want us to miss out on the opportunity and the experience for the sake of being here for them, just in case. Even if the chances are maybe one might pass while we're gone. That's a common thing for people. They'll go away to live on boats, but they do not want us to hold back for their sake, because they have siblings that have made those mistakes, stayed back to spend too much time looking after ailing parents, and then when it's time for them to go, it's too late, and they've missed their window to enjoy their own lives, and so they're conscious of that. So they're very supportive.
My mom's never really said anything negative either.
She seemed very supportive.
Yeah, she is very supportive. I guess she's just, this whole transatlantic sailing trip came out of left field.
You might be doing that right now?
Yeah, I think she was thinking, I didn't expect you to go this soon in your sailing career, so to speak. Like, never crossing an ocean, and then all of a sudden doing a full transatlantic is, I guess, a little bit like jumping in the deep end of a pool. So she's happy for me. I think that just shocked her at first. But she's fine with me living my life traveling. She doesn't like her parents. They don't want us to sit around here just retired and twiddling our thumbs because they're old and gray and whatever. So they want us to go experience life. So
yeah.
Somebody was saying about put one earbud in your ear.
Yeah, one earplug.
And that helps seasickness. Mm-hmm. Let me know. Is that supposed to be leaving in all day?
Dan is on board. Dan Kruga.
Hey, Dan.
Dan is here.
Dan.
His mom was crying today.
Oh,
Dan,
no.
the buddy that's going with him.
Oh, no. Oh, Dan, that's not
good.
good.
Be gone
I know your dad's not in great health, so hopefully, you know, everything goes well while we're gone. But yeah, Dan, you see his comments. That's Dan, who's going to be my roomie for what, 10 days in Spain and 4 days in Las Palmas, and then 2 or 3 weeks on the ocean. So we're either going to love each other by the end, be BFFs, or we'll be like, don't ever talk to me again.
As much as
so,
I do.
yeah, oh yeah. We're probably going to both snore. So I've already got I've got my firearms earplugs that I wear when I shoot my gun at the firearms range, and I'll bring those with me, and I'll have my earbuds with music playing, because I just got a funny feeling that one or both of us are going to snore, and so it's going to be something you just have to live with. So I think when you're tired enough, if you sail and you're just like doing stuff all day, when you finally lay your head down on the bunk, you're going to just crash anyway, even if somebody's snoring. So it's not going to be a huge deal. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie dokie.
I'll look at some of these because
I
was crying. Oh, did we? Yeah, you've been saying the questions. Okay. What I've realized here when you do these live events is that later when YouTube turns it into a regular episode, obviously they don't get to see the comments. So the live people can see the comments, but later people won't be able to see the comments. So we kind of have to read them out loud if there's something. Somebody's going to be at the Arc Rally with their Lagoon 45. Say hi if I meet them. Okay. Easier for them to say hi to us because I don't know what they look like and they don't know what I look like. So
Kjeld and Ula, I guess is how you would pronounce.
Oh, from Rio de Janeiro. I can't pronounce your name. Oliveira is your last name. So hello. Early start of the morning. Yeah. So.
Oh, and somebody asked, are you going on vacation, leaving, or quitting? He's taking vacation for this one trip.
Oh, I'm not quitting. No.
But when we go to live on the boat in 6 years, he's retired.
Yeah.
He's done. That's why we're going in 6 years.
Yeah. For this is just I'm
on
my vacation time. Yeah, she's quitting.
I'll be young enough to just take the transfer value and the of pension, and we will invest that.
Yeah. So Thomas asked if there was. Did you ever dream that this opportunity would come when you started your channel? No, but yes, not really, not when I started. But then as I started the channel, kind of a backstory is kind of funny. I started the channel when I was on the Ottawa River just to show off the pros and cons of various anchorages with my drone. That was the whole plan. I didn't have any grand plan with the channel ever getting big. But then within a month of starting the channel, I had 2,000 subscribers, and I didn't even think there was 200 people in Ottawa that would even care about the Ottawa River. So
like he started with really a focus on the Ottawa River where we were sailing and thinking just local people would even care, and then in no time we had subscribers from all over the place, mostly the U.S. So I'm like, oh,
most of them, most were U.S. and then a lot, surprisingly, were from Australia, and then rest of Europe.
Hi Thomas, the guy that came to visit us and loaned you his.
Hey Thomas. So the channel grew a lot bigger, and then I found out people were watching from nowhere near the Ottawa area. The vast majority, probably 90% or more, were not even anywhere near Ottawa. So then I realized, why are people watching? My buddy goes, they're not watching because you're showing them the anchorage and giving the pros and cons. They're watching because you and Janice have fun on the boat, and they're just watching you because it's like a vlog. So then I'm like, oh, okay. So then when I started to treat it more of a vlog, I stopped all that pros and cons of each anchorage and started to make it more of a vlog. Then people started reaching out saying, I want to meet you. I'm in this city. When you ever sail here, I want to meet you. Or I have a boat in this city. Would you like to come meet me? And so I started getting offers for me to come to them and sail on their boat. And like I said, I had a guy who still might. I'll still have annual leave after January. It starts all over again. So that guy with the Saba 50, if he's still interested in having me sail with him in February or March, I'll probably be interested in that. And then Janice can come because she'll have.
I only have a week.
Yeah. She has a week and a bit.
1 day left.
Yeah.
To use.
She has a week and a bit, but if I had more time than that, then we'd fly down together, and then she could fly back and I could stay for a little longer. So that would be great. So if you have a catamaran and you want us to come help you sail and make some episodes on your boat, send me an email, cruisingoffduty@gmail.com. And I've had a few people kind of tentatively say, hey, sometime you should come to my boat, but there's been no exact dates set yet. So.
Oh, somebody asked me what's in my cup.
What do you think's in her cup? Wild guess. 3-letter word. Tell her.
It's Appleton Estates
rum. Rum is the word I was thinking of.
And Coke.
She decided coming home from work that she wanted one, and so then she made me one, and I wasn't really expecting that, but it's one will be all I have today because I'm not a big drinker. So that's it.
Yes, I think that's it.
Break in transmission.
When? Oh, it's back a bit.
Okay.
I don't want to make this too much longer.
Okay.
What time is it anyway? Oh, it's 7:30.
All right.
Excellent timing.
Okay. So unless there's any other last minute questions, I think that's it. And that's it. I'm glad we got a chance to talk to you. Oh, I'm leaving Saturday, so I'll get out a few more episodes. I've already got an episode done tonight that I'm going to upload tomorrow morning, and it is on the Maverick 440, which is a 44-foot boat, and 2 Bally's, a Bally 40-foot and a Bally 43. So we got a Bally 40, a Bally 43, and a Maverick 44. And then the next episode after that I've already started working on is the Antares 44. It's the Majestic 530. Majestic 530, which is Janice's favorite boat.
And his close.
Yeah, it's 1A and 1B.
Runner-up.
We'll talk about that when you see the episodes, but I'll give you a little foreshadow since you're watching live. The Exquisite X5 is my favorite. Janice's kind of almost favorite is the Majestic 530, more because it's
pretty inside.
Very pretty inside. Beautiful wood, like Better Homes and Gardens wood inside. So and it comes with a lot. It comes with scuba tank compressor built in, a massive amount of solar panels. I mean, when you see that episode, you'll be blown away.
So comfortable.
Oh, it's so nice. And it's a 53-foot boat. It's huge. And the other thing is it's cheaper than the X5.
Yeah.
It's under $1 million. It's $950,000 or something, which is not chump change. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about getting used catamaran, if you start from $950, it might get down to, I think, ballpark, we might be able to afford $600,000 or $700,000 when we finally buy. So that $1.2 million X5 is never going to come down to $600,000 or $700,000. So unless Exquisite wants us to be their brand ambassadors and give us a discount on the boat, that might happen. That would be the only way it would happen.
We'll have to start working on that hustle now. Hustle.
Yeah. So, but yeah, mostly we're thinking, what can we afford when it's on the used market? So if we had 6 or 7, maybe a Majestic that starts at $950 might get down that far, but Exquisite is never getting down that far.
Or a Neisna.
Yeah, she likes the Neisna. They weren't at the show.
No.
Neisna wasn't at the show, which we liked from a previous show, and we wanted to see it again. Wasn't there. Another boat that we've really loved
is the St. Francis 50. And it wasn't there, but it's
been at every show I've ever been at the St. Francis. He's been at Miami.
Maybe the hurricane has something to do with that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been at Miami and it's been at Annapolis every single time we've gone. And then we come this time all ready with our camera gear. Oh, we're going to show the St. Francis. We even mentioned in a few episodes that a boat we're going to see in the future is the St. Francis because we just assumed it was at the show.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't there. So
it's the first show we've ever been to where it hasn't been.
And the Neisna wasn't there, but I don't know if it was there at the last show.
The Neisna hasn't been at every show, but it's been at least a couple, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah. All the boats we love.
I remember how pretty it was inside still.
Yeah. All the boats we love the most
have wood in them.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say they're all from South Africa.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, like the Neisna's from South Africa, and the Royal Cape Catamaran's Majestic 530 is from South Africa, and the Exquisite's from South Africa. Yeah. They just make really great boats, and I don't know if it's because of the exchange rate, those boats seem to have more bang for the buck than the French boats. Because you look at a Lagoon or a Fontaine-Pajot or whatever, and by the time you buy a 50-foot, to use apples and apples, buy a 50-foot Lagoon or a 50-foot Fontaine-Pajot, and it comes bare bones, nothing, no water makers, no solar panels, no nothing. And you add all the things that, let's say, a Majestic 530 has on it, you're going to be well over $1 million. So you're not getting a deal by buying a production cat from France when you can buy one that's fully kitted out from the factory, designed to be like this. Everything works like clockwork together for under $1 million. So, and for a 53-foot boat. So that's a huge boat. Not that we need a huge boat like that, but it's just a beautiful boat.
And we know it's wide, and we hear it sails back. We don't,
As long as it sails.
It's not,
as long as it doesn't sink.
That's not our main criteria, is how fast.
And you got to remember this too. People
like supposed to be at Miami, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, we're not going to be at Miami because we're going to probably
be scuba. If we aren't on a cat somewhere, we're going to be somewhere scuba diving.
We need to scuba dive
again because we haven't scuba since our scuba course.
If you watch the episodes where we got our scuba course, we haven't scubaed since then.
We were going to go in the St. Lawrence, but it was cold all summer.
Yeah, it was a horribly cold summer, and so we didn't scuba in
the water never got warm.
Yeah.
At all. So.
Only the polar bear was swimming all the time.
I was swimming, but I wasn't going to swim.
Yeah, not for a long time. No.
Underwater.
So long and short, we like the bunch of the boats are coming up that are going to be upcoming episodes. We like the the other one that's not South Africa that's okay. We kind of like it, but it's got its downsides too. Is the Antares 44? Yes. It's from Argentina. Mm-hmm. So, but it's got some nice features, but it's also got some detractors. While some of these other boats like the Exquisite and the Majestic and the St. Francis are almost all positive with almost no negatives. So. Mm-hmm. Antares probably isn't in our top 3, but it's definitely worth you guys seeing. So that's that. So hopefully you've enjoyed the episodes.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Maybe in December.
And until next time, we're signing off, wishing you safe cruising. Now I gotta figure out, finish, bye.